Okay, so the next 365 Days movie is now here, and if you thought the last 2 years were bad in real life, then you haven't seen the last 365 days. This tops off what's the worst trilogy of all time, but since we covered the last two, then you know we had to ride it out until the end and finish up even though we're almost out of ammo.
What?
Cue the what even needs explaining comments, but grab me a cigarette cause we're lubing up and going in deep. Feel like I've been kidnapped myself and forced to go through this, but smash the thumbs up button like it's Laura's box if you enjoy the video, and make sure you hit subscribe to stick around through the good and bad like your boy Nacho. With out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the next 365 days. Now I'm not a conspiracy theory, but it's weird these movies started showing up when the world turned to crap. The finale's going down worse than an Ezra Miller apology for playing Grand Theft Auto Hawaii, and like all bad things, it must come to an end. The last movie featured the marriage of Laura and Massimo, with the latter demanding that she no longer be treated like an object. The bloody cheek of it. Massimo was of course taken aback by this, cause who wouldn't be? And when Nacho entered her life along with Massimo's twin brother Adriano, it all went tits up. Nacho, that's Nacho girl, and Adriano, you need to take Adriano for an answer.
Ha ha!
Now Adriano harboured a deep resentment for Massimo due to him being born a couple minutes before him. Finally though, he gets to go first, and we discover early on in this movie that he was killed due to the events of the last one. In the end, Laura was shot too whilst she ran to Massimo, showing Nacho who she really loved. The third movie opens in the aftermath of this with Adriano 6 feet deep. Now I loved how they teased that it was Laura who was dead by having Olga be like, I miss her so much. And yeah, love, you only seen her 5 minutes ago. Now from the off, you know that this script is going to be as melodramatic as it can be, and this 50 Shades of Shakespeare follows Nacho driving a wedge between Massimo and Laura. Massimo is often driving something into Laura though, and hey, my wife, if you're watching this video, I swear those noises coming from a room, that they were for a video. They were for a video! Now, due to the death of Adriano, the tensions between the families are worse than me and my wife's are now, and it all spills over into the main plot. The story is basically a mix between music videos in nightclubs and the worst softcore porn that you've ever seen. It makes the acting from Johnny Sins look like it's Daniel Day-Lewis, but if you're up to the point that you're watching the third movie, you'll likely love it as much as the director loves slow-mo. At times, I was often just shazamming the songs, and if we're going off how much it added to my Spotify library, then it's a 10 out of 10 tour de force. All those lost subscribers, they're about to come crawling back. Now at this point, we're half an hour into the movie, and like this video, nothing's really happened. It takes a while before anything actually develops, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but this clearly shows the struggle that Massimo and Laura have. When they're not banging or getting drunk, they don't really have anything in common, and you can see how she's torn between him and having Nacho and dip. Can't show any of these scenes because of YouTube, but use your imagination. That's really filthy that, mate. Tone that down. I think that YouTube is actually so used to censoring this film now that it doesn't even show the thumbnails for this video, which is why most of them just look like stills from the movie. If you don't see this as the thumbnail for the video, then I'm right and they've censored it. Now I've always kind of thought that the series was trying to show how vapid the lives that the characters lead are. Might be giving it too much credit, but I think that it shows a materialistic lifestyle filled with nothing but sex and holidays actually leads to people not ever being happy. Look at me trying to psychoanalyze this movie, dear me. Anyway, torn between Massimo and her feelings for Nacho, it causes a lot of tension between the pair. Laura also hid that they lost the baby because of the gang war, which makes things kick off. Laura ends up travelling out to Portugal with Olga, who turns up late because she couldn't leave her man with a heart on fuck. Such a good film. Anyway, at this point we're an hour in, and things finally start to happen when we discover that Nacho is out in Portugal too. That's right, we're 1 hour into the movie. Probably would have just been 15 minutes long if the director didn't keep filming everything in slow motion, but the island is where things start to really get going. Is it an island? I don't know, moving on. Unfortunately, Laura didn't order nachos, and after she bumps into his sister, the pair inevitably cross paths. After a hilarious Benny Hill-inspired chase scene to get Olga out the way, the pair finally hook up. Now unlike Massimo, Nacho will give her a choice in life, and it turns out that he saved Massimo's life by shooting Anna last time. Now it's revealed that he did this because he actually wants Laura to want him. What's this? Bloody 1970s feminism, is it? Bloody gone woke, have you, Nacho? Are we not kidnapping women for a year these days? Bloody woke PC bullcrap, I'm bloody sick of it! Now, because he's entered Massimo's territory, both through land and legs, his crossing of the line has the potential to cause a huge gang war. Unfortunately, after spending the night with Nacho, she comes home to find Massimo there, and in a complete opposite of the conversation she's just had with him, Massimo isn't too happy. It's more complicated than an entanglement, and Laura threatens divorce. After a trip home, her dad asks why she's been starring in all these movies, and she also confesses that she's in love with someone else. After some incredibly wise words from her mother, we get a very artistic threesome, complete with a gay kiss, and it wasn't gay because it's in a three-way. It's not gay if it's in a three-way. With a honey in the middle, there's some leeway. Now, after Nacho drops Laura off in a taxi, she ventures out to the beach in order to see Massimo. He pours his heart out to her and reveals that he knows everything. She's being caught red-handed, like changing her tampon after a heavy flow, and he wanted to see if she would come back to him. He had sorry for that, ladies. No, it's a really bad joke. Now, he utters the phrase, "If you love something, you should let it go," and the pair stand on the beach staring at each other for about 10 minutes. We as an audience are left wondering whether the pair will end up back together, and unfortunately, we don't find out. There's no post-credit scene, and as of writing this video, it has been said that this will conclude the film series. The book also culminated with a third entry, and there is yet to be another one announced. Now, both the second and third film were shot back to back, which is why they were able to be released right next to the third book. That also dropped this year, and believe it or not, the series has been a literary success. With the movies also constantly topping the charts too, I do believe that we will get a fourth film. Now, what this will centre around will likely be the gang war, and in order to make things even more tense, I think that Laura is going to have to choose Nacho over Massimo. Now, this will likely infuriate the character, as not only did he steal his girl, but he also entered his territory, which Massimo knows about. Though he seems cool, calm and calculated on this beach, I think this will likely be the last straw for him, and there's actually a lot teased at in the final 15 minutes. There's of course a taxi ride in which Nacho talks about how it's war, and the reveal that Massa knows it all. Now, Laura going to Nacho is the only way they can really have a sequel, because if she goes back to Massimo, then it'll bury the hatchet and be happily ever after. Nacho would probably see this rejection too and stop chasing her because he's bloody woke, so therefore the only way for them to progress is for her to go to him. She's also saying stuff like, "I know you'd be a good father one day," which sounds like the kind of thing someone says when they're about to friendzone you. Therefore, this rejection could send Massimo over the edge and make it so that he has to finally claim back what's his. The third book actually has Laura going off with Nacho, so maybe they're kind of taking elements from that, trying to milk it as much as possible, and then we'll probably get a fourth movie next year that's all shot in slow-mo, 2 hours long. That's basically just the last chapter of the source material. Now, that's how I think it's going to go, and obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on it below. Very deep. You've got an opportunity here to write a 3,000-word comment, because it's a very, very deep and complicated subject. As for my thoughts, I think this is actually the worst out of the three, which is saying something. Nothing really happens for the first 90 minutes, and it doesn't even really have an ending either, so I'm not sure that there was any point to it at all. Will I be back for next time though? You're goddamn right. And because of that, I'm scoring it a generous 2 out of 10. Yes, that's right. So I'll explain that. So the 2 is because my Spotify, it's now going off. And also the scenes were well shot, I think. Like the camera was in focus and stuff. And it's difficult to shoot in the dark, but they still managed to do it. You know what? I'm going to bump it up to a 3 because, right, I can imagine as well that these scenes, the sex scenes, they're really awkward to film. But look, they gave their all. So that's it. No more after this. I'm not giving any more. 3 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed the video, yeah? And I'll see you on the next one. Now, if you drop a comment, yeah, you're going to get entered into a competition where we're giving away 3 copies of Top Gun Maverick on the 15th of September. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Why wouldn't you want to subscribe after this? And drop a comment below with your thoughts on the movie. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now. So if that's you, then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. You want something else with bloody woke feminism in it, then make sure you check out our breakdown of She-Hulk, which will be linked on screen right now. They're bloody giving women choices these days. What a disgrace. Anyway, that's linked on screen. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.